and resources to help you going along. So, Brandy, I guess now it's the opportunity for you to take on the stage to share a little bit more from Celo's point of view. What are some of the help, resourcing and toolings to kind of get people going as well?
Excellent. Thank you so much, Justin. Super excited. If you haven't joined up on the hackathon, you're a developer, maybe you came from Web 2 and you're curious about Web 3, like this is the opportunity, right? Like the hackathon just recently kicked off, 4 weeks, great amount of time. Really, there's a lot of time there to make an impact with the project. So we do look forward to each and every one of you. Of course, we care about our community and we want everybody to scale, right? And that's really what these hackathons are about, is providing opportunity and allowing support for scaling as your project matures through its iterative cycle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just kick off of the screen share. Justin, it looks like I need permission to go ahead and share a screen.
Let me get it sorted for you.
Excellent. Well, bear with us 1 minute here. We're going to get access, because what I want to do is I prepared a quick little slide deck that's going to go through our developer tooling, which is really geared towards just getting you started, like getting you in the know about what you can use, what's available, and really about the fastest way to get started for the hackathon. Okay, so it looks like it's working. Thank you so much, Justin. Thank you. All right. So developer tooling. This is all about tools that we have available, documentation, share some resources, yeah, let's kick it off. So first and foremost, I just want to share, like, Celo is a fork of Ethereum. Celo went to the mainnet on Earth Day 2020. And this is like true to Justin's statement that it's kindled strong to the heart of Celo in regards to climate initiatives, being focused on ways to continue the trend with being carbon negative, not just carbon neutral, but carbon negative. So it was really important for Celo to take advantage of April's launch back in 2020, specifically on Earth Day. So huge shout out to Celo ecosystem for the launch. It's been rock solid since, and a lot of things have changed, especially for the tooling. But the reason why it's important and why I started off with the fork of Ethereum, like ecosystem wide, all the various projects, layer 1, layer 2s, the different offerings out there, it's really about coming together. It's like better together, right? And that's why it's also as important that Celo invested in the community to produce things like having efficient bridging available between chains. But this slide right now, this is all about EVM general purpose tooling. And the reason why I wanted to share about this is because when you're working on your project and you're looking for resources, and I know I've done this a lot, like I have some wild ideas that come to my head, I'll communicate with other team members. And the first thing I want to do is start looking up, has somebody done this before? What would be the least path of resistant? This is the power of the Ethereum virtual machine, is that by being EVM compatible, you get granted access to all the historical toolings, right? That's Ethers.js, Web3, frameworks like Hardhat, Truffle, online resources for testing your smart contracts and Remix, of course, MetaMask, Solidity, Open Zeppelin, all their contracts fully compatible. Everything that has been available for EVM is available for you with Celo, and that's what we considered EVM general purpose tooling, because it is general purpose, right? You need to connect up with a Web3 provider, and then you would set up your network parameters, and then you utilize the provider to call, interact with smart contracts, and other various things that you want to do with transactions. Like, they're fully compatible and by far one of the most least path of resistance to getting started with your project. I do want to talk a little bit more about some other things, but just know on my screen right now that I'm sharing is I have a QR code here that's specific to this list that has been curated by a team member, Jason. Jason created a fantastic list of general purpose tooling that helps support you on your path for your project to make an impact. And of course, it's all about leaf path to resistance. So it was really important for me to give this link to you. Also, the URL can be found right there on the bottom right-hand side of my screen. Okay, moving forward. Sorry about that. Moving forward, ContractKit. So ContractKit is essentially our general purpose library. This is geared towards Celo, and the advantage of ContractKit is that it gives you all the fantastic things with a standard Web3 object like you would be accustomed to with like Ethers.js, for instance. All these things are baked into ContractKit. Their strong value prop with ContractKit is that with Celo, we have what's known as core contracts that are available. And a big difference between Celo and Ethereum is that Celo in itself, the actual utility token, is ERC20 compliant, whereas Ether is not. And so that creates some interesting challenges in the past, is like, how do we go ahead and take advantage of DeFi? And typically in Ethereum, you would go ahead and wrap Ether so that way you can utilize it for DeFi platforms. Well, with Celo, it's native, right? So you get to skip that. You can interact with Celo's utility token like any other ERC20 token. And one of the strongest advantages is also the ability to pay transaction fees in alternative tokens like CUSD, stable token, C Euro, and C Real. You can pay for transaction fees. So if you come up with a really cool project and your users don't have Celo utility tokens, that's okay. They still can transact if they have other value in their wallet. So one of the advantages of ContractKit is that you're getting fast access to the support for core contracts on our platform. Definitely take advantage of our docs, because in our docs, we have the ability to search on the top right. So you can type in core contracts. You can read and review all the good information about core contracts. And specifically with ContractKit, QR codes right here and the URLs on the bottom, that's going to take you directly to the documentation. Check out the kit. We give you quick access with code snippets to bootstrap your project quickly. I do want to mention general purpose library and what that means. General purpose library means that you get the advantage of this library both on the front end and for backend services, right? Like if you're developing in Node.js, you can take advantage of ContractKit. If you're going to be developing in React, Flutter, many of the other frameworks and so forth out there, front end, back end, you can utilize ContractKit. Which brings me to my next topic. What if you just want to build as fast as possible, focusing on the mobile first world with React and React Native? It's like, well, webhooks are here, they simplify, and Celo saw the power of this. So Celo invested heavily in making sure that we have strong resources focused on the mobile first world, because we're obviously Celo's value props, not only on sustainability, but it's also a mobile first approach to blockchain services. Use-contractkit is another SDK. It's different than just ContractKit. Use-contractkit's really all about giving you the webhooks you need to speed up your development cycle for your project. It's by far the easiest way to access ContractKit within your React applications. Instead of having to configure your web components manually, it's done for you. So feel free to check this out. It's really a great resource. Least path of resistance, right? That's the theme. And again, check out the URL. It's right there in the bottom right, and the QR code. That's going to take you straight to the docs, where you're going to find a lot of useful information. So as you know, in the developer world of engineering, we depend on documentation. Take advantage of it. And we also have support. So that's what's cool about the Celo community. We have our Discord right there, tons of channels to get folks' attention. So if you need support, you can just call it out. So take advantage of it. But yes, this right here, Use-contractkit, is going to be your arsenal for working with React applications. Next up, boy, it just jumped around. So sorry about that. Next up, I just kind of want to show like why that's important. Is like with Use-contractkit, you get all the baked in tooling you need to effectively communicate with various wallets. And developing in Web3 initially, wallets, this was by far like one of the most friction for a developer is having compatibility with wallets and having a good wallet experience for your end user. So we try to alleviate that with Use-contractkit by giving you the web components that both scale to the desktop and look beautiful on the mobile phone. And you notice on my screen shot right here, I started up with this example. And one thing I just wanted to share, a tip, is like take advantage of the mobile mode in Chrome, because the mobile mode in Chrome, you can have your console up, you can have your logs, take advantage of log statements before you like really start tying in to the front end user interface, and you create a function, you put it into user interface. You have an iterative cycle that occurs, and it ends up costing you time because you're switching context between the logic of your application, the architecture, and then trying to tie in the user experience with the user interface. A lot of folks like to just jump straight into the GUI. And my advice is get it working, take advantage of text in a console output, and utilize the logs, right? Because then you can test out the functionality, iterate on that. When that's solid, that's a great time to start tying in the front end of your user interface and user experience. Okay, so to sum it up, Use-contractkit is by far the easiest way for React application. It has flexible wallet support, and obviously all those web components are right there, and they're fully customizable for you with your application use case. And I think this is kind of goofy on my end, so sorry about my slide deck. I don't know if it's Zoom or my computer, but we also have a starter kit. So we're taking it another level further for you because we wanted to get you folks the tools that you need to get started as fast, right? Within 10 minutes, that's the goal. So here we have a starter kit. It's a modern progressive DApp starter kit, all geared towards ramping up your development cycle. The fantastic thing about this is that you're getting all those React components that I shared with you earlier with Use-contractkit in a boilerplate, right? This is really a boilerplate, a starter kit for you to get you started quickly and allowing you to reverse engineer. And that's really one of the thoughtful processes about this. Like, we want to inspire you to build applications, get through that early stage development cycle as quickly as possible so you can iterate effectively, and allow you to reverse engineer so you can be inspired about what you're going to do next and how you're going to customize the boilerplate for your needs. So definitely check out the starter kit. This should point you straight to the repo with a QR code. And again, that URL, take note of it. One of the fastest ways to bootstrap your project. So a summary on this is, you want to get started quickly. This QR code is actually a YouTube video where Josh will walk you through how to utilize this kit, how to get it started. And he does so within 10 minutes. One thing to note is that it is a progressive web app as well, which means that you get to take advantage of your offline, online caching of data on the local device and in the web browser on the desktops or tablets. This really helps out the mobile experience. When you think about mobile and Web3, we've had problems in Web 2 with connectivity where you would have low latency connections or you have interruptions with that connection, which breaks the user experience. And that's true today with Web 3 as well. So the advantage of a progressive web app is you get to combat that and craft your user experience by protecting it within the local device and cache those resources so they're readily available. It speeds up the access for your user experience when they're clicking through things, and instead of fetching another call, if that data is already there in the mobile device or on the browser, it it just streamlines that and protects the user experience. So definitely take advantage like a progressive web app as you're going through it. And it's fully compatible too with Hard Hat and various React hooks that you can use for your project. So once again, this QR code just going to take you to getting started with that kit. And this is the QR code to access the starter kit. So fun. And the next step is like we have a command line interface tool. Super simple, right? In npm install, and you can make it global. You don't have to make it global, right? But for something like this tool's really meant to be global, ready for you to switch between the projects that you're working on. The coolest thing about this is that you can do stuff like access. It has ledger support, multi-sig support. You can access various governance mechanisms, so you can participate on on-chain voting, all right there in your command prompt without having to go to another online resource or whatnot. You can access and interact with contracts, participate in governance. And also my favorite part is the ability to do test accounts. Like I love just quickly doing test accounts. And this is just an example of that. Hopefully it shows on your screen here on this slide deck that I'm showing with a little animated GIF I created. Here I just created an account new, brings it up, you get your private key, you get your wallet words, super fast and easy. Next, you just go ahead and type help. You can review all the potential offerings of the Celo CLI, which again is like everything that I shared with you earlier about ContactKit, that's baked right into the Celo CLI as well. All these tools are wrapping up ContactKit one way or another to give you as much flexibility as possible throughout your means for the way that you develop with your workflow. Next, the emphasis on documentation. Hey, we're working on this. Is like an evolving process where the goalpost keeps on moving. And we understand the challenge. We're working hard. We have a ton of resources for you where we migrated our docs to Docusaurus. We're constantly updating the content. We have a lot of tutorials in there to help you get started quickly. And there's useful external resources like partners. Like we have partners with Figment, who's done some great tutorials with examples that you can literally take like the smart contracts in those tutorials and rapidly play, prototype, invigorate your mindset, right? That's really what these resources are great for, is they invigorate your mindset to think about new ways that you can leverage tooling to contribute to your project development efforts. So go check out docs.celo.org. It's going to be by far the best way to gain the resources that you need. And I know I'm jumping around. That's because I see it freezing up on the slide here. So work with me. I'm so sorry again. I'm not going to apologize anymore on it because it's happened enough times. But we also have Java support. So you can get native Java support. If you're working on enterprise application development, you can plug it right in utilizing Java best practices. Even more importantly, you get to take this and do native development right within Android, because Android, originally was fully focused on Java. Now we have Kotlin, but you can merge the two. So I did set up an example on that, but this is the actual SDK made by a community member called Blaze Tech. The URL is on the bottom right. Apologies for not having a QR code available on this. But we do have the ability for you to go ahead and take advantage of native development with Java. And that brings me to Android, right? I was playing around with it, and on the bottom right, I have my GitHub URL, which just takes you through a quick example of incorporating that Java SDK into Android native development, where you can persist wallet details, query the Celo blockchain. And also in the example is like I put in there security best practices, like when you're serializing data between classes, you want that data to be protected and encrypted. And I put the information in there on that as well, if you're interested in Android development. But we also have Swift iOS. So Celo's investing more and more into more tools to enhance your development experience with the way that you want to shape the needs for your product offering. Not everybody wants to just do React Native. Some folks want unique value props with native development APIs, like sensors that might not be available through React Native. Now you have full access to the hardware abstraction layer. That's really what the value is of native development. It's gaining access to that hardware abstraction layer. So Swift iOS is available now. The URL again on the bottom right-hand corner, where you can go ahead and experiment and be able to transact with our blockchain. Next up, we have GoLing. Like this is really quite typical in the EVM world, because if you've been around and you know about Ethereum, Geeth is the typical go-to. If you're going to set up a node, you're going to compile Geeth, and you'll be able to kick off a node. If you want to set up a local archive, you can do that as well. You could do a lot of unique things. And the cool part is Celo really invested a lot into the strategy of iterating on the fork, and that's all prevalent right here in this repository. When you compile Geeth, you have different command lines, flags that will allow you to make your compilation more efficient for your needs. For instance, you can compile it for Android. It's super flexible. You can build it from source, or you can download a precompiled version. The nice thing about this is if you want to set up a node mix environment, you could do that. If you're trying to set up something customizable with an RPC endpoint, that's there. So definitely a resource to check into. How to and where to get started. I've already shared, like, docs is the go-to. You want to go to docs.celo.org, and we have tutorials, which you'll find in the docs, by the way. They're there, so you really don't have to go to another URL, but just in case you want to jump straight to some quick little tutorials, that's going to be docscelo.org/blog. And, you know, that's pretty much it, Justin. I just want to give folks some information on how to gain access to these tooling. And it all centrally points to docs.celo.org. I know I shared some other resources to repos, but nonetheless, that's pretty much it on this screen share. I'm going to stop right here. We do have devrel@celo.org, so if you did want to try reaching out through email, be our guest, but most of us prefer getting pinged on Discord. We have a lot of folks in there. So if you like call out for my attention on Discord, another member of my team is most likely going to help out, and then they'll get my attention and bring me into the conversation. So yeah, don't hesitate, communicate with the community. If you don't think you're getting enough attention, that's where devrel@celo.org really helps out. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.